Cast your mind back to the days of COVID. We tantalised you with the history of Metroland.
Once referred to as not a location, but a state of mind.
Ooh.
Today we're exploring Metroland to the end of the line. In this week's episode. So next stop, Amersham.
This station was meant to rival Crewe.
So far north she's got a nosebleed.
What was the Brill Tramway is now a gin palace.
There's lots of nettles.
This has been an epic tour.
I mean, if you thought we were in a hedgerow, you wouldn't be mistaken.
So Nixie, we're going in a little van today. We're going to take a road to get to a train. And it's all about this here, innit?
It is. It's inspired by a trip that I made back in 2018 when we were writing this book. And there was a chapter which we wanted to do called Ongar and Quainton Road. And we're going to focus on this second part, the Quainton Road, today. In one day we did this massive photographic trip out onto the far end of the former Central line, and then all the way out here onto the old Metropolitan Railway. And today you'll find that the Metropolitan line stops at Amersham and at Chesham. But we can see from this map, which dates from
1957,
that it used to carry on further out to Aylesbury. And actually, it went even further than that, all the way up to Verney Junction. But there's a problem. Because it now stops there, if we want to go and see what's left, we can't do it using our favourite form of transport today. We're going to have to pick another method.
Uh-oh. What method are we going to pick?
Oh, sorry, you've got to pay for the journey. Oh, I do apologise. Welcome to my world. How are we doing this?
Well, we need to travel by road to go and explore these countryside areas, and I can't think of a better vehicle than our Land Rover. So, since we've just had it ULEZ compliant.
It's like the A-Team van, isn't it? This is marvellous.
It's a road trip to find the missing part of the map.
The missing parts of it.
Well
on
done.
That terrible joke.
Get out.
Yeah,
Let's
can
go.
we? Because it's really
Let's
difficult.
do this. I don't like sitting down
That
like that.
hurts.
Kneeling down's painful. Oh, here he is, look. Speedy Gonzales. Have you got your Oyster card?
Are we in?
Yeah, I think we're in here.
We're going.
Yeah. Do we have to tap in?
Welcome aboard.
Do we have to tap in? Oh, this is very fancy, isn't it?
I've got littler legs. I'll go behind Chris. That's all right.
Marvellous.
Excellent. Well, I gather it's very fashionable to go and do railway programmes following a book. So, shall we?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Portillo. Bless you.
All belted up?
No, yes.
Oh,
yes.
excellent.
Hold
then.
tight, please.
Ready? I'm like
Beep, beep.
nervous and excited. I'm nervous-sighted.
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 Yep.
Or
Can't lie.
Exus. Now, I'm not going to ask you, is it fun to drive? Because you would find a skateboard fun to drive, but is it easy to drive?
Once you get used to it, it's like any other vehicle, but there are certain things that are standard operating procedures for what is basically an agricultural tractor. And so when you get in a Land Rover, I always find it's a good idea to wind down the driver's window, because otherwise as soon as you manoeuvre, your elbow is straight into the window and things like that. So there are some bits that are quite primitive, but for what it's designed to do, which is pull heavy things, it's great.
Laura, if this is a tractor, you might as well give up on dinner tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday, because we're not getting up to Buckinghamshire and back in one day.
I'm a little worried about the time
In
scale,
a
can't
tractor.
lie.
Are we muck spreading with this as well or not?
No, I mean, once you get it up to speed, it's absolutely fine. It's just
You're
like
quite
any other
high in the
vehicle.
back though.
Yeah, you are.
It's
I
very
quite like the vista.
yeah. You could put like a cage between us two and you two, couldn't we?
Small animals in the back. Thanks, Alex. Thanks.
Main thing I find about driving this is I'm now used to driving an automatic. With this one, you actually have to use the clutch, like the gears and things like that. And
It feels like it's quite heavy on the gear stick and clutch as well there.
it's quite a powerful vehicle, but it's all in the low range. So
Is it similar to the bus?
Yeah, it is certainly more of a truck-like vehicle than a car. It's very high, you know, lose people in vision down the front of the bonnet and stuff like that. So you do have to drive very carefully with it, especially on residential areas.
There are a couple of features of this vehicle that I need to point out to you.
Interesting. Go.
First of all, there is a fridge in the back for sloe gin, as collected in the Buckinghamshire wilds.
Not its official use.
No, it's not a gin. It's not a gin fridge, but it's a fridge. And there's also a television under a flap over there on the side of it. So basically, remember when we were at school and they used to have those big tellies on wheels?
Wheel them out
and
through
then
the
you used
corridor.
to lift up all the cabinet sides and everything else, flappy
do.
bits. We've got one on the side here.
I do hope we get to sample this TV today then.
Oh, you could do.
Might have to. I think it's worth saying this is a pretty unique vehicle. It was one of the very last Defenders to be made for the stock production. It's also the very long wheelbase one, so it's the Defender 130 for you fans out there. And also because it's used for both towing our things like our primitive buses, and it's also used for display. So that's why it's got the generator and the display panel in the back. Yeah. But it's a great vehicle, really.
But you could use
essential.
it for hospitality and accommodation, temporary lodging. There's a lot of things you could do with this vehicle. It's huge.
Well, it's really essential as a backup vehicle when we do heritage vehicle operations with our buses. That's its primary purpose. But yeah,
Could you get a cow in the back?
never tried. Maybe
Try
a
it.
small
Well, let's
one.
try it while we're in Buckinghamshire. It'd be fun.
Imagine if we just arrived back in the depot with a cow. Quite random.
Hey, Elizabeth, we brought you a gift.
So, should we talk about what we're doing then? And,
Well, I feel
yes.
like we should introduce our fourth
Yeah.
member as well.
yeah, let's do that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Matt.
Hello.
Now, Matt is new to the museum, actually, and you decided to sheep dip him on day 2 and bring him on a shoot with us.
It's a brutal initiation.
I thought I could either try and explain to Matt what it was like to shoot at London Hangouts, or it might just be quicker to let him experience it for himself. So, Matt, welcome aboard.
Thank you very much for having me. Yeah, I'm excited, especially by the sloe gin.
The slow gin is an
Yeah.
excellent start, and we completely ruined it because as soon as I met Law at the tube station, this lovely person waved, and I thought, you know me, I don't know you, so we ignored him,
We did. We
and it
walked
turned out
off.
to be
Ghosted
Matt.
him.
Yeah, so I ghosted
Well, maybe
the
we
new
waved.
boss.
Oh, you waved and smiled.
I think we waved. You
Smile
waved,
wave.
and then we left.
And you left quickly.
I know. We did debate waiting. We're like, we must know him. There must. Yeah. So I'm super sorry. Very rude.
No, it was me assuming you knew me because I knew you.
Well, now we know each other. This is marvellous, and we'll share a gin. Although, funnily enough, the number of times, because we're all used to each other, aren't we now? But the number of times I've bitten my tongue with a cheeky comment or an aside today because we've got a new one on board, and I just think he's not ready for this yet.
Yeah.
He's not ready.
Ease people in, Alex.
Yeah, we've got to do this gently. So, but I'm really looking forward to this today.
Yeah, it should be a good trip. The weather's even started to cheer up. I did say I wanted to do this on a good day, and it was looking very iffy this morning, but maybe it'll clear up by the time we're out into Aylesbury and wilds of Buckinghamshire. We'll see. So next stop, Amersham. Well, feels a bit Beatlesy, doesn't it?
I knew someone was going to do that.
It's bizarre.
But we're not
isn't
at Abbey Road, Mr. Portillo.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today.
We're at Amersham.
This is gorgeous, and it really already feels like the middle of the countryside, doesn't it? It's a completely different vibe to central London, completely different.
Out through the green fields. Did you enjoy the country ride?
I actually did. As I said before, I was a little nervous-sighted, but I did enjoy it. I liked my little view from the top there at the back.
And did you see as we drove past, there's a sign saying the Chilterns?
Yes.
And you just think, wow, we
We've
are
arrived.
miles from anywhere, aren't we? Gorgeous stuff. So this station was originally just part of the journey to Aylesbury, wasn't it, on the Metropolitan line?
Yes, if I remember correctly, on one of the early maps, it was actually referred to as Amersham Bois.
Really?
Yeah, so as in French for
Yeah.
wood.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing that would have been like the locals with Thaden wire. It would be Thaden Boyce. So Amersham Boyce, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, this is beautiful.
Welcome.
And you've seen the station. What do you make of it? Because it hasn't really changed much, and it's ever so cutesy, isn't it?
We've had a little sneaky peek, haven't we? It's very pretty, isn't it? It's a really pretty station. I love the colour combination of the red and the cream, and I don't know what to call this, but the lovely kind of archway metal decor and the panelling round there.
Yeah.
Go
Now,
on and hit me with what they're called.
They have
Chris.
a name. They're called dag boards, apparently.
I like the dag board.
Yeah.
Lovely dag
Yeah.
boards. Lovely dag
I
boards.
don't know why all our Australian fans will have a different interpretation for what a dag
dag.
board is.
I am also lushing, can't lie, after the hanging baskets.
Beautiful, lovely hanging
They're
baskets.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Beautiful.
Nice bit of petunia action. But if you take a peek inside the station, the set of lines carries on beyond here, as once did the Metropolitan Railway. But now you'd be using the Chiltern line for doing that. But where our quest lies is way beyond here.
We've got to
A
go.
long
Hang
way.
on,
gotta
how
do it.
way beyond?
Way
A
beyond.
long way.
Way beyond.
And
Cancel all your plans for this week. We're going that way.
if we make good time, there's a sausage back riding on this.
Oh, I'm in then, I'm in. What's nice though is last time you guys did some like little Metroland stuff, I feel the weather was a little different.
Snowing.
And
it was snowing.
there was some sunshine and blue sky before, but it is nice. It is a nice day. Like Metroland Through the Seasons by Hidden London.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Right. Let's
Right
go.
then, come
let's
on,
do
let's
this
bradshaw
then. We've
our
got
way
places
up
to go. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so you're going to go right here. Can I
Okay.
just say, by the way, this little tree-lined lane that we've just driven down is not Oxford Street, is it?
We brought the right vehicle for this. We've like almost green laning. We've only just left Amersham.
A few potholes.
Yeah.
Beautiful though. I have to say it's absolutely beautiful. And I think this time of year, we're just coming into autumn, so the deep green is just starting to turn yellow. And it's really, really pretty. Would you not say autumn leaves?
Great. I'm
Laura?
just trying
That
to
was a
see
very-
round that sign to actually pull out. Here we go.
That was a
Right.
very lovely seasonal description from you there,
Autumn
Alex.
leaves.
Yeah, I like
What?
it.
It's the perfect time to be going and looking for sloe berries starting to ripen. In fact, they're not berries, they're relative of the damson. In fact, they're basically small damsons.
Apparently, if you put one on your mouth though, raw, it sucks all the liquid out of your mouth.
Like
doesn't it?
putting a sponge in your mouth or a cotton wool pad, they're incredible. So that way, yes.
Neither of
Yes,
which one we
please.
want to do.
A413. We're going.
Oh. Chalfonts.
The Chalfonts. Chafing in your Chalfonts. This is Mark said we are literally just tracking what was the Met line up into the middle of the countryside. It's
That's
just
right, the
great.
Met line is somewhere over there, as was.
Yeah.
There we are.
Marvellous.
Right.
I do love a personal parking space.
Just for you, Alex.
It's like they knew we were coming. Right, Buckinghamshire Railway Centre, a place of wonder. Been here many times before, it's a wonderful place.
I'm quite glad to be on flat land and not in that bumpy car anymore.
This is rather lovely. We are now so far out of London that all I can see is greenery, which gives me the jitters anyway, because I think buildings, pollution and all those sorts of things I'm more used to. But this is Quainton Road, right? Which is here on the Metropolitan line map. Laura, what do you make of this?
Well, I live all the way down
Yes.
here off the map, so I'm amazed that I've made it this far. But this is lovely. I love the vista. The landscape is really lovely.
So far north, she's got a nosebleed. That's the.
It's remarkable. I have a million questions for you.
Okay.
So, first of all, your first reaction to this. This is not your first rodeo here, but it is a beautiful location, isn't it, for a picnic?
It is. I'm powered exclusively by cake. Interesting, really. Yeah, we're guests at the Quainton Railway Society, or Buckinghamshire Railway Centre. This is the perfect setting to do this part of the story, because that missing bit of the map, we had one that went as far as Aylesbury, but yeah, this is where the action's at. Main line carried on up to Verney Junction, and then there was this branch tramway, so a very light railway, that headed all the way out to Brill. Wonderful name.
And from this station of, what, 3 platforms, you could go from here to Marylebone or Baker Street, depending on whether you took a Great Central train or a Metropolitan Railway train. But you could also go the other way to Sheffield and Manchester.
Yeah, that's right. It's incredibly well connected, and you can see it's quite a large station. It's built as, you know, to handle quite a lot of things going through it, and to handle that interchange from the branch line coming in. And remember, the Metropolitan Railway was also a freight carrying, or it carried goods along with people. So things like that milk van that we have in our collection at the depot, tack one of those onto a train to carry milk churns in from the countryside where the cows have been feeding on the lovely lush grass.
Well, do you remember the Baker Street episode as well? We had pictures of basically freight trains coming through Baker Street. Utterly fascinating stuff. The other thing I wanted to ask you was about a sign that I saw on this platform that says LNER. Now, anyone who knows anything about British railways will know LNER doesn't operate anywhere near here. It comes out of King's Cross and goes to Edinburgh. Why LNER?
Well, it does feel a little off-piste, doesn't it? But the thing is, this part of the railway was operated by Great Central Railway, which died off, basically, and LNER took over ownership of those bits of the line. So it's not as far west as Great Western, so I guess it kind of makes sense. It's somewhere in between. So, yeah, in its latter years, it was London North Eastern, so that is that sign that you saw is correct.
Incredible. And do you remember when we did Marylebone, didn't we? And the name of Marylebone's tube station was Great Central. It's all in that beautiful tile work. It is a lot about the aesthetic out here, isn't it, really?
It is, and I can't help looking just behind you. And I was talking to Louisa before, who works in marketing, and I think that view there you can have if you get married at the museum, and that would be the backdrop of the bridge.
Nice.
What a lovely. That's right up my street.
It has got Epping to Ongar tones about it, hasn't it? You could almost feel this place is a bit like Ongar Station.
It does, but as I was saying earlier at Amersham, I'm feeling really at home here because it has a lot of things that are similar to Ruislip Station. So right down to these little brackets, well, big brackets that have these circles built in on the right angle there. Same at Ruislip, the bridge, that lattice bridge, classic sort of country station vibe to it. So there's a lot of similarity here to me, the brick-built station building behind it. But we have a lot of really nice links with this museum here and the Preserve Railway, because it covers quite a lot of the same stories that we do, but specifically this end of the Metropolitan Railway. So you'll see that there are exhibits from our collection which now live here. In fact, there's even a really early display from London Transport Museum, which is here as well as wealth of other vehicles that belong specifically to this location. So delightful place to come and visit.
Have you seen any of this before, Alex?
No.
I've not been here either.
And all I can say is, even if you're not really into trains, come in for the sausage buttons,
Oh,
because
absolutely.
they are banging, aren't they?
Very
Spoilt
nice.
us rotten. So we've got our picnic bag and rug out, which I'm now sitting on, but full marks on the food here. Very good.
Gorgeous
and
stuff.
if you haven't visited
Absolutely.
Quainton Road before, then absolutely do. It's one of our partner organisations, and splendid place to come and have a day out.
The peace and the tranquility is what gets me about this place. It's just stunning.
Just with the soupçon of HS2 in the distance. You getting that?
What did you think? What did you say when we were driving up here?
How much I love watching HS2 being built. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's great. It's done wonders for the countryside, hasn't
I
it?
love what you've done with the place. I think that was the line.
What I love about this place is the platform paraphernalia.
Oh.
It's got those great things you just don't see anymore. So you've got like massive porter's cart over there, that trolley. You've got these oil lamps which was...
They're divine.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
You sort of, we've seen things like backlit roundels before, and on later stations on London Transport Estate. But here you go, you've got a little oil lamp with a mirror behind it to throw the light forward and light up the name of Quainton Road. That massive gantry full of semaphore signals over there, and the signal cabin. I suppose we're on London Transport Estate.
It's got to be a cabin,
not a box. Yeah. You've of course got the platform lavatories, always handy because I'm guessing the trains weren't that frequent. So yeah, fire bucket rack there.
And these are called
dag boards. There you go. And finally, this pulley scales.
Yes.
There. So Pulley were a company that made weighing scales, particularly for measuring things, for sort of legal
Luggage
weights and measures,
like
and
that.
in this case, for luggage and the goods that are going onto the guards van, so you don't overload the guards van.
a treasure trove.
Very much so.
I like this road trip so far.
This is gorgeous.
Advert for Rinso.
Absolutely.
I like the Lion's tea one, just reminding you to stop your work and have a quick cup of tea.
Oh, that's a good idea. Another cup of tea.
Absolutely.
Nice one.
Let's do it. Oh, I haven't seen this in a few years.
Come on, Alex, hurry up.
Don't mind me, I'm like the porter. Right, so then.
Oh, Aveling and Porter.
Good work, yeah.
See what you
So
did.
this thing here is what?
Well, this was in service on the Brill branch as the locomotive.
Brill?
One of the locomotives, yeah. So it's very much like a traction engine. That's because the manufacturer, Aveling and Porter, made traction engines. And it's a light rail locomotive.
I've got one question for you. When you get to this station, you can go to Verney Junction on a continuation of heavy rail.
Yes.
Or then you go to Brill on a light rail system. Why was that? Why didn't they just take big trains to both?
It's simply because it costs a lot of money to build a heavy rail infrastructure. A heavy track bed, you might have to build really big bridges or embankments and cuttings, sometimes tunnels, to go around geographical features, whereas a light railway line can follow the geography of the place it's going through. And that is why this was a more, should we say, cost-effective measure for creating a railway line out there. This actually was in the beginning of the Brill tram branch. This is 1872, and it only ran for 3 or 4 years before slightly heavier locomotives were put into service. But it couldn't get that heavy because the line just wouldn't support it, and also heavy rail is not good at gradients either. So this can handle more undulating line and put less stress on the light rail.
Two things strike me about the look of this. First of all, it's a very pretty engine, isn't it, Laura?
It
and
is,
the
and
other
I'm
thing
going
is it's the colour.
I'm going to move out of the
Step
way
this
so
way,
there's
my
a
darling.
You can
lovely
appreciate
view.
it.
This green reminds me of a field of grass that's been kind of water and sun drenched for like a whole season, and it's just that sharp, crisp rural green.
It is,
Oxford green it could be, couldn't it?
and it's a nice job. The team here have repainted this. So as I said, this is one of our museum's objects, and when I first came to the museum 25 years ago, this was on display in the gallery until we redisplayed in 2005, and then it moved here. So team here have been looking after it and have cleaned and repainted it, and it's looking a lot shinier than when I first saw it.
It's in beautiful condition.
It's beautiful. And what was the Brill Tramway is now a gin palace, is that right?
Well, if you know where you're looking, that stretch of line has somewhat overgrown, and yes, there are particular plants that I'm interested in that grow along it.
Are your eyes willing now? Shall we?
Yeah, I think we should.
Shall we?
Are we Florna and Forating?
Gin o'clock?
Let's do it.
Oh, I better get the bags.
Oh, yeah.
You
come on,
go on,
Porter.
yeah, you crack on.
Come on, guys. There's not that many nettles.
Yeah, but you're not carrying all the stuff.
Oh, there is. Well, I was carrying a camera.
There's so many nettles down here. Was this at the JD?
Yeah, the plans changed a little bit. It wasn't like this when I recce'd.
Not sure I'm having that much fun, to be fair.
Just think of the sloe gin.
Yeah,
The
and
thing-
the
nettles.
elderberries. I mean, you got tons of elderberries. Oh, well done. Right, throw a leg over.
I'm having a dry September. I can't even. I can't
You
even.
timed that poorly, if I
Getting
may say
wetter by the
so.
second.
There's lots of nettles.
Yeah, there's fewer up here, so keep
Oh.
going.
I mean, if you thought we were in a hedgerow, you wouldn't be mistaken.
Do you know, give me an old cupboard with some tiles in any day.
Do you know, there's so many things here just desperately trying to spike us up the backside. It's incredible.
So anyway, on that note, what's this down here?
Well, you know how we often talk about things being hidden in plain sight?
Yes.
You really do have to be told what this is, don't you? But this is the former Brill Tramway.
Run along here.
Yeah. And you can see there isn't really much sense that there was a track bed here because it was just following the natural contours of the land.
It doesn't feel that flat. It's
No.
like properly wobbly.
Undulating.
It's just been left to go to nature. And what's rather nice about this is you've got this sort of double hedgerow has grown up alongside it. And last time I was here was about 6 years ago. I think it was just before, the year before COVID. And it was better. You could just about still walk down that, but over time, nature is gradually
So
declaiming
that's where batch 1 of Metropolitan Elixir.
I can feel that
That
is
was
the
founded.
secret place on former Metropolitan line ground that
But the best
elixir was
thing,
grown.
look at this. These are the sloes. I've never seen a sloe
No,
before.
I didn't know what they looked like either.
So if I just
Pull
can
one
you
off.
grab one for,
The leaves look like that.
and
all
then if you want to grab one for you and Laura.
I'll grab
The,
a one. Yeah.
Not
Take
official
over.
foraging advice, always seek your own independent verification because there are a lot of berries that look like this that will do you a lot of harm if you pick the wrong thing.
These are definitely
But
sloes, yeah?
these are basically, they're like very small plums. Any thoughts?
Well, I mean, they look
I mean,
like
that would be a
wouldn't
tiny plum.
Okay, but they are a stone fruit, they're not a berry. So you crack them open, they've got a little...
Crunch.
Yeah, you don't want to bite hard on them because you will lose a tooth.
So there's a stone.
Well, this is
There
getting
is a stone.
worse.
Right.
And they're basically just like a very small damson or plum. But whereas eating a plum or a damson, if you like them, they're very nice. These are a bit different. They're really
I don't
good.
like the way he's smiling.
They're really good for flavouring gin. But
So we've got two crew and there's three of us. And we've all got one of these little berries ready to eat. Now, I really would urge you not to try this at home. But we are under very controlled supervision at the moment.
I've done this before, so I'm going to do it
Well,
again.
We're
But
roadside with a bunch of other
yeah.
people that are eating them as
Yeah.
well.
just give it a slight rub. Yeah.
Is that to
Love
clean
it.
it?
Yeah, just, might as well.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Oh, what does that do?
Mine's gone black.
Well, you see, it's taken that sort of
Yeah.
slight sort of fairy bloom off it.
Sort
Oh,
of
gosh.
the
Take
builder's
fur
dust
off.
of
Right then.
HS2.
Ready? Down in
Yeah.
one. Don't eat it. Don't swallow it.
Don't swallow it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't swallow it.
No, just don't swallow the pit.
Oh my
Oh.
god. Oh god, where's the water in my mouth?
Like sand.
Really should have brought some water. It's like very sour.
Wow. Ugh, it's coated absolutely everything in my
It's
mouth.
like there's a slight essence of eating cotton wool or something in that it takes the moisture right out. But as we've suffered for our art here,
Look at the
there you go.
faces.
That's the stone
The
in the
faces.
fruit.
That's
And
pleasant.
all around us are colleagues who are filming this also going, having just tried one. But there you go. It's amazing, isn't it, that quite bitter flavour. And that's a ripe one.
Sorry, I can't talk right
That's
now.
a
I have
ripe
no
one.
saliva.
I boiled dry here.
That makes the most delicious gin when you steep them.
So we'll do the recipe in a bit.
Yep.
Okay. Pens at the ready.
Guess
do
it
a
needs
fact
a
sheet.
lot of sugar.
Pens at the ready. But if we were to be walking down the Brill Tramway and we wanted to make sloe gin when we got home with those delicious berries, how many of these would we need for a litre of gin?
A lot.
Litre of gin? That's so much
the recipe
gin.
just
I
says a
plan
lot.
to drink tonight.
It depends, to be honest, on the recipe you're using. Sometimes you'll see half a kilo, sometimes you see a kilo. You can imagine that's quite a lot. And about the same in sugar. Again, varies on the recipe
They're
as to
very
what
light,
the proportions are.
aren't
Wait, now
But-
another one.
No.
Say, crikey.
She's
what's not
trying to grab herself a kilo to make some gin when she
No, I'm
goes
just
home.
thinking that would be an awful lot of
And
them.
then what you need is patience, because
We're out.
Take that.
you either have to sit there with a pot of these and prick them with a needle so it'll release the juice,
Each individual
or
one.
the smart way to do it is put it in the freezer for half a day, which will split
Bursting.
them open, and that'll do the same thing. And then you just leave it in the steeping in the gin and the sugar.
So literally
for
bursting with
months.
flavour.
Oh, I like it. Nicely done.
So you could freeze these and make sloe gin in subsequent years.
Yeah,
So just
absolutely.
say you happen to strike it lucky and finds a 10 kilos worth of, you could eke it out over a period of years.
They're strange plants though, because they're slightly finicky. If anybody's grown plums or damsons will know this, you have a really good year where you've got more than you can eat, or more than you should eat in one sitting.
Well,
And-
one's more than you should eat of that.
And then the following year you might have a really poor
Yeah.
crop. These are the same, so this hedgerow's got barely any of these in here. So we might leave these ones
Give it another go.
for the birds.
No, I'm all right.
I could do another one.
Go on then.
Yeah,
I
'cause
haven't.
pre-rolled.
That's the one. They're just incredibly
strange.
drying.
I
Oh,
can't
look
work
at the colour.
They're better than I remember
Look
actually.
at
Very green.
That is.
They're like
Is it the smaller the sharper, or does that not
No,
follow?
his ones are actually quite sweet compared to the ones I've had before.
what? You're joking.
I wouldn't have them as eating fruit normally. No, the first one I tried was. Wow.
Right, okay, well, anyway, we'll get rid of
Yeah,
that.
anyway, that's. Welcome
Should we
to
stop
Hidden
hanging
London
around?
Come to
Botany.
Valley Junction.
Right, definitely time to
Let's see
head
what
off to
local
our final
delicacies we can find
destination.
at the last bit. Right, get your bags, everyone.
Oh yeah,
Hurry,
no,
everyone.
he's not portering anymore. Right.
Right, get out of here. Bye. Is this it?
Yep. That's it. It's great, isn't it?
This is where the Met ended.
Yep, worth coming.
I mean,
I'm joking.
slightly underwhelmed.
It's changed a bit, in fairness, since I was last here.
You don't say.
We used to be able to walk straight out onto the former track bed here, but let's hop out, see what we can see.
Won't take long.
I mean, I think I can tell you that from here. I still haven't honed the getting elegantly out of the truck yet.
Well, here it is.
Yeah.
Buzzers.
The end of the
Oh, what are
line.
these?
They're not slows, are they?
No, they're.
There are
there might
lots
be the
of
odd,
different
odd
varieties.
blackthorn in there, maybe. But you
Not
can
here to
see
look at the trees.
we've definitely got a railway nearby, and that's not an old railway due to the size of that penalty for trespass. But yeah, just the other side of that fence.
So figuring where this is in location, this is the new Cambridge-Oxford line, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That
That's
they've
right.
brought some of this back into service.
Exactly that.
So should we have a look? How can we find a way of seeing what's behind that?
Well, there is a bridge, which I think can help us with that, just to see down from it. But we used to, when we came here in 2018, there used to be the remains of the platform, the remains of the track bed. And if you look at some of the names of the buildings down here, you'll see Station Cottage. So there's that evidence that there was stuff here for that junction station.
Cool. Let's have a little look
Yeah,
at
let's go and
what
have a
we
look.
can see.
Ooh. Well, here we are, end of the Metropolitan Railway line.
And that is what we can't see, basically,
Well,
from that fence. that
yeah,
we've just been at.
basically the station platform is just down there, where those acoustic screens are next to the housing. That's where we shot the photo that was in that book. Do you have it?
Ta-da!
That one there. Yeah.
I'm assuming it's this because you can see the house with the white
That's- yeah.
and then the two chimneys, which is
That's
just there behind us.
So,
Yeah.
so riddle me this, right? In the book,
Yeah.
because I read it last night, this station was meant to rival Crewe. It was meant to be like the Crewe of the South.
It's ambitious, isn't
Right?
it?
There's only 2 tracks there now, and this is now part of an east-west railway line, which I
Yeah.
hasten to add, although I can hear the faint buzz of electricity pylons, there isn't an overhead power line in sight on these railways.
No.
This is a diesel railway.
line. That's right. Yeah, or one of those pump carts, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we don't have a junction there, and yeah, it's been a very long time since the Metropolitan Line Railway served it, and it was just track bed and the occasional sleeper and rusty rail chair sat there when we came here. We did take a lovely shot that we didn't use in the book in the end, which was we arrived so late in the day after doing that big tour around Epping Ongar and then coming here, that we arrived as the sun was going down, and we sort of marched out onto the track bed, set up the camera, and I think the sun was just like millimetres off the horizon.
I mean, not dissimilar to today.
Yeah, we have
only we
just
had
about
sun.
matched that today. If you could see it through the cloud over there.
It's
I
actually
think
quite a nice
it's
Barbie
still there.
pylons, quite a nice view.
I think this is remarkable because if you think we are literally in the, I mean, it's the most beautiful nowhere, but we are in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing really apart from a few houses and loads of wonderful wildlife. And when you think about the stretches of where the roundel, in all its different colours for buses or whatever, were, you're right up here on the verge of Oxford. You could have gone right the way down to Red Hill. You could have gone right the way up to Stevenage. You could have gone right the way over to, effectively, the district line went to Southend, didn't it?
It did, and it demonstrates the amazing reach of that railway. And you could have commuted into London from out here really quite easily, and they even had those Pullman carriages, so that, you know, you could have had your breakfast on the way into town, and dinner and a few drinkies on the way home. So had you have lived out here, it could have been quite comfortable to do that. But it's not surprising that when London Transport took it over and Lord Ashfield and Frank Pick came and looked at these areas and thought, what are we doing running a metro railway out this far into Buckinghamshire? Oxford's just not that far away, and they wanted to focus on making the most excellent railway for London, and
Which
that's
they
what they did. Yeah.
But interestingly, all those years on, they're now reinstating railways around here. And it does feel like a kind of, they're doing it all again. And it'd be really interesting to see how this area changes in the next 20, 30 years.
Well, let's hope this one stays. And one of the things I've really liked today about travelling this far out, you know, we're outside London, we're outside the M25 here, but because we've been driving in our Land Rover today with the museum roundel on it, the number of people who've seen the roundel and wave, so even though we're well outside London, there's people sort of going, oh hello, we recognise that. So we have brought, I like to think, a little bit of London's transport system out into...
Is it the equivalent of a little toot from a driver, do you think? A little wave to the van?
I think it's rather lovely. And there is one more thing to do. We have had to sample the raw product. We've had to traipse through the bushes to get it.
I can't lie.
Could you please take us to your garden and show us how to make this sloe gin? Because there's got to be something that tastes better than that.
I don't know about you, I can still taste it, and it's some time away. I think the only thing that will wash that away is the real thing.
The liquid form.
I knew today would leave a bitter taste in my mouth, but you know what? I think we can fix that.
Can I just say something though?
Yes.
Look at the sunflowers and the poppies down there.
yeah.
Aren't they gorgeous?
I genuinely hadn't noticed that when we walked out. I'd seen the poppies, but I didn't see the sunflowers.
Look at the
That's very sweet.
sunflowers.
Oh, it's nice to
Just
put a little
beautiful.
border
Aren't they
in the
lovely?
field. It's great. Well, look, it's the end of the line for the Metropolitan Railway, but it's not the end of the line for us yet. So
Anything direct to Bromley from here?
No, that's not. So we need to take you back via the gardens.
Okay, all right.
All right, let's do this. Bye-bye, Fernley Junction. It's been lovely. So the time is 8:30. This has been an epic tour around many counties of England.
it has, and it's got so late that we've had to say goodbye to Laura and send her away. Sun has set, and here we are in our estate.
The new boy is shocked at what we do.
Yeah,
It's
lovely
just-
time.
But he did have a good time.
Have you noticed it's a bit like last Smith and Jones?
It is a bit. It is a bit Smith and Jones. But I have to ask you the question that has been bugging me all day. That stuff, Metropolitan Elixir. This is sloe gin. How do you make it?
Well, it is an ancient and secret recipe, which is very easily Googleable. But you need about half a kilo of ripe sloes, about 250 grams of good caster sugar, and then a litre of gin.
Wow.
Yep, so freeze your sloes to help break them up, give them half a day or a day, or sit there and prick them individually 6 or 7 times. Don't do that. Brown hands takes a long time. And then put them into a big open jar with a lid and leave it to steep for 4 months, something like that.
So it's months.
Yes.
All right.
So if you pick them early, you might find it drinkable by Christmas. But leaving it on there for a good long time means you get this lovely colour. And also the other thing is you have to then strain it. through muslin cloth or
pair of
filter
tights.
papers. Yeah, yes, if you're not intending to use them again, perhaps. And then you get this very clear
It's gorgeous.
colour like that. Now this one is made from those very bushes that we looked at earlier,
Amazing.
and that is about 5 years old.
So they're Brill Tramway.
That's right.
It's so cool. Can we try it then?
Yeah, of course we can. Yeah,
I was going to say, you put it back
It's, this
all
is the
day.
this episode is the very definition of a long walk for a short drink.
Too right.
So here's your short
And
drink.
can I just say, we are way off duty. 8:30 at night.
That's a very generous measure. Sorry, my hand genuinely.
No, that's
did
fine.
slip
I was
there.
actually thinking it was stingy, but thank you very
Take it
much.
steady. It's not a shot, and I'll match you on that.
All right.
Um,
Round one.
There we go.
Chin chin.
Well, cheers. Here's
Cheers.
to a
And here's to the
great day.
Metline and all who sail of it. See, I think that's absolutely lovely.
It's heavenly, isn't it? Tastes a lot better than the
It's
the
not sour.
sloe straight off the bush.
It's sweet in the mouth. Oh, it's got quite a kick.
Yeah, it's developing, isn't it?
Wello. Oh, I recommend that.
See, a lot of people write off sloe gin as a drink for grandma, but grandma's got the right idea if she was drinking that
Can
stuff.
I be grandma?
Oh Lord, gently, sir, gently, sir. So, one of the things that's particularly pleasing about the going foraging for those sloes back then was that in desperation to get enough sloes to reach that magical formula, I was kind of jumping up and trying to grab the small branches to pull them down, and I would say on one of the bushes that was behind us when we were filming, I pulled it and a small section twig basically came off in my hand, and Helen, my wife, was told me off for damaging the bush that was giving us such lovely stuff. And I said, hang on, I've had a thought. This is the perfect time to take a small cutting. Good Lord. He was thirsty. Take a small cutting, and some of these might set. So now, here in my garden, outside the summer house just over there, I now have about 2.5 metres high. While before it'll start fruiting, but I have an exact descendant of that bush, so I'll be set for my sloe gin going forward.
I've run out. Could I have a look?
Yeah, have a top
Thank you
up.
very much. Thank you so much for watching today. It has been such an genuinely, it's been such an interesting journey round the extremes of London, as somebody once thought it should be, all that way away. And thank you very much for driving us in that ridiculous tank. It's been lovely. Just have a little swig of that. That's lovely.
It's like Keith Floyd has come back again.
Do you know what? There's pork pie. I'll cook that in a minute as well. Thank you so much for today. Thank you to Laura and also to Matt. Brilliant, Matt. He's going to fit in very well on the team. I
He
think.
really is, yeah.
And thank you to you for watching. As always, follow us on Instagram, Alex Grundon, Chris Nick, City Holloway, Hidden London Law, and at LT Museum. And thank you for finding us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and comment down below. And we'll be back somewhere really, really cool very, very soon indeed. In the meantime, have yourself a great day and stay safe. Right, let's get drinking with this.
Cheers.
Thank you very much. That's lovely.
Splendid. Right, time for some food.
Yeah.